Welcome to Colony TV, the governmental educational channel for the town of Colony.
In New York State, on any given day, over 110,000 people are receiving comprehensive services for substance abuse and gambling addiction. My name is Dean. I'm a recovering alcoholic and addict, and this is Inside Addiction. Today we're spotlighting the Addictions Care Center of Albany, also known as ACCA, which provides services to people recovering from addiction within the Capital District in upstate New York, in particular in the viewing area of the television channel you're watching today. I want to welcome the Executive Director, Keith Stack, to Inside Addiction. Keith?
Thanks, Dean. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us, Keith. I want to start by talking about ACCA and the mission of ACCA and some of the core values.
Well, you know, our theme is that recovery is possible for everybody, and that's what we're all about. Our logo says healing the hearts of everyone touched by addiction, and that goes beyond just the person struggling with alcohol or substance abuse problems or a gambling problem. It applies to the family and friends of that person as well. Addiction affects everybody. You think about it's a family disease. Everyone in a household is affected by the person who is drinking too much or using illegal substances. It affects a child's schoolwork. You can't be focused on schoolwork if you're thinking about what happened in the house last night or what happened that morning as you're heading out the door.
Let me ask you about some of the core values of ACCA. The respect, compassion, diversity, integrity, and excellence. What made ACCA choose those in dealing with such a challenging, at times, population?
Well, I mean, the people we treat are just that. They're people. They're human beings. They're individuals who need help at a particular moment. We all like to be treated fairly. We all like to be treated with dignity and with respect. And we treat the individuals who seek our services, as if they're a family member, for example. We treat them the way we would like to be treated. Addiction takes people to some scary places, and it changes people's lives. And what we have to do is kind of bring them back to the people that we know they are, that their friends and family know they are. We're all good people, and we have problems at times, and we have to deal with those problems and then get back to living life. Life as a whole person.
I once heard somebody make reference and say, "Don't judge the man by the moment."
Exactly.
So ACCA has an ongoing continuum of care which really meets the family across the board. Starting with prevention programs. I know you have several prevention programs in the Albany County School Districts now. Can we talk about those? The Apple a Day, the Strong Families, the Grow Girl, Boys Only, the anti-bullying, and the tips for parents. Can we talk about some of the programs that you have, the prevention programs currently?
Yeah, we do prevention education in the Albany school districts, and we start at grades, K through 12. The primary target, though, is 4 through 6. Our curriculum are literacy-based, and it's about lifestyle choices and changing lifestyles. But it's about education, and what we try to do is teach young people to make the right choices in life. It's about healthy eating. It's about healthy activities, engaged in extracurricular activities. It's being friends with the right people. So that really is the kind of the underlying theme of our prevention education programs. But the message is about the dangers of alcohol and drug use and misuse. But we also want to give children the courage to talk about what might be going on at home if there are issues with alcoholism or drug abuse in their house. So, to know that it's not about them, it's about somebody who has a problem, that it's not their fault, and also that there are places they can go to get help for themselves, but also for that family member if that's the experience that they have.
Now, you also have several men's programs, a halfway house supportive living program, and also the Riley House. Tell me a little bit about the services you have for the men, because I really want to get into the latest venture the ACCA has taken on, the Women and Children's Program. But let's first talk about the men. Sure.
We have a whole continuum of care. Residential living. So we have a 24-bed men's halfway house at 90 McCarty Avenue. And also at 90 McCarty Avenue, we have a 12-bed men's transitional living program. And in the city of Albany, at Morton Avenue, we have a 24-bed supportive living program. So the continuum of care would be 6 to 9 months in the halfway house, 6 to 9 months possibly in the supportive living program, and then an individual could stay up to 2 years in transitional living.
Wow.
That house is called Riley House. Supportive living is that kind of phase in life where they're starting to integrate themselves back into the community. They're starting to do some volunteer work. They have close to a year of sobriety and recovery under their belts, and they're starting to think about what's the next step in my life. The men who go to the Riley House, the transitional living program that we have, at that point they're working full-time, they're going to school full-time, they're doing a combination of working and going to school, and they're in the process of building up a bank account. They're getting ready to, live life again, back in the community. And, it's really an exciting phase for them and also for the staff at ACCA. We've seen them. We've been working with them for a year plus, sometimes 18 months to 2 years, and then when they're there, they feel good about themselves. They're starting to give back. They're reuniting with their family, and it's an exciting time. But you can see. You can see success there. You can see that these, the decision that they made 2 years prior to that, for example, to come to ACCA, there's something there that that they were holding on to, and we saw that, they saw that. We just worked together to find that spark that got them interested in living a life again.
And it sounds like when you're talking 2 years for somebody to be involved in a treatment/recovery process, that's a really good, solid foundation. And you talk about the opportunity to get a job, open a bank account, reunite with your family. You're talking about things that also build the self-esteem of these men that is absolutely just destroyed in active addiction.
Absolutely. What we do know, and Dean, you know it well from your own work and experience, that
personally and professionally.
Exactly. Well, I'm in recovery myself, so I know of what I speak, but it takes time. It really takes time, and statistics show us that short experiences of treatment, those short, what do they call them? Like a 2-week stay, the very, those short periods, they usually end up in relapse. They don't. People are just starting to, understand about themselves again.
It's just not enough time.
Yeah. It isn't, and it takes a long time to get to that point where you need, you need care, and so it's going to take you, as long to come out the other end.
That's great. So in 2011, ACCA opened the Vista House, which is a 22-bed women and children's transitional living residence where women are able to prepare for the next phase of their life in recovery in a safe, healthy environment while keeping their families intact. Tell me a little bit about Vista House.
It's a unique program, certainly in the Capital District area. It's a transitional living residential program. So the goal there is to reunite, mothers with their children again. The women have been in treatment for a period of time. They may well have been living in a halfway house themselves. Frequently, what we're finding is they're coming out of other institutions. They have criminal justice history. At some point they're recently out of jail or prison, and they've struggled with their addictions. They've struggled with all of the lifestyle issues that follow addiction, and they're getting back on their feet again. But the challenge is getting together with their family again. Frequently, women, unlike men, they have one of the obstacles to treatment for women is the family. They have children that they have to let go of or turn over to somebody else's custody.
And they're the caretaker.
Absolutely, yeah. They absolutely are the caretaker. So that becomes, they have to make a choice often. Do I take care of myself, for this period of time, or and that might mean giving up my child for for a period of time, or do I just keep living the way I'm living? And for these individuals, the right choice is to take care of yourself. It's not selfish; it's the right thing to do. But it's a hard choice. And what we want to do is to bring the family back together. We want to bring the mother back together with their children in a safe, protective environment where they can all learn what it means to be a family again. We have to, help the mothers with their parenting skills. The child was growing up in a pretty explosive situation. So there's going to be some fear there. There's going to be some confusion about who my mother is, who my parents are, because it's a different person now. It's a person who has begun the process of turning their lives around. So mom is different.
They may have been with their mom for some time, but they're actually meeting their mom for the first time.
Absolutely, absolutely. So they do that at Vista House. They do it in a very safe environment. We have staff there 24/7. It's a beautiful home. It really is, and it has the feel of a home.
Yeah, we're going to show some pictures of the inside in a Vista House. I want to talk some more about Vista House. I was shocked to find the latest statistics. In 2008, only 24.9% of admissions in New York, we're just talking New York, were women of the total of over 313,000 people. And some of the reasons women and women with children in particular are so underrepresented in treatment admissions. And I want to talk about some of the barriers to women getting into treatment. The fear of having their episode of abuse exposed, both physically and sexually as well. The relationship issues are a big barrier for women, such as fear of losing their children. Like you mentioned, there are not very many resources that allow children to go through drug treatment with their mothers. I was looking before the taping today, and I had a really hard time anywhere remotely close to the Capital District that provides services for women and children. If you go down towards the city, if you go out towards Buffalo, out towards Syracuse, but within the Capital District, correct me if I'm wrong, ACCA is really on the cutting edge of a women and children's program.
We are. We're the only women and children's transitional treatment program in the Capital District area. And at this point, it's not so much for the women. It's not so much about treatment any longer. It's about life skills, there's barriers for a lot of reasons. There's not, number one, there's not a lot of treatment opportunities for women, and I'm not sure which came first: the lack of facilities, so therefore we don't have many females in the system, or it's because of the barriers. But the fact is, there's just a real lack of services, and women are, again, we talked about it, faced with that choice of having to give up their child, and that's not an easy choice to make.
And I think, Keith, it's interesting too, because I think there's some similarities between men and women that both addicts share, and that's a stigma. And I think it's almost more so with a woman as a mother, the stigma of being a bad mom.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely, and we focus on parenting and mothering while the women are with us. We have services and programs specifically for that, and the domestic violence and abuse that they've experienced in their life is a real issue and a real challenge to them while they're in our care, and we face it head on. We bring in specialists who can work with the women on those issues and work with the children as well. I mean, again, they've all experienced that type of violence, that fear, and just the craziness that goes along with addiction and the whole lifestyle. And you have to. It's not even so much a matter of conquering the fear, but it's learning how to deal with it and to live with it,
and process
it, and move beyond it. And again, it's about building esteem. It's you are a person. You're some of that. We've had 3 babies born at Vista House, and we've only been open since November of 2011, and so we had 3 pregnant women moved into Vista House, and they've had their children there, and one little guy's been it was a year and a half. So that's kind of exciting. So they're growing up there, and it's a very nurturing environment, and the mom is is out on job search right now. So really getting it together, and that's the purpose of Vista House. That's the story we want, and the life we want for everybody who steps through the door of Vista House.
Yeah, you mentioned some of the relationships that women stay in almost prior to the transitional services that you folks offer and the treatment at ACCA. I can imagine a lot of these women feel trapped, like they don't have a way out, for many reasons. Perhaps the relationship that they're in is the source of their supply. They're in a relationship with their, boyfriend/dealer, and I'm sure there's a lot of control involved. And what an opportunity to show people that there's a way out. Women staying in harmful relationships because of that economic and social dependence and pride. And still, for as much as we hear about people being dependent on a system or the system, there are still many people that will not reach out for the assistance that they need because of their pride.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. We have professional staff at Vista House, case managers who help the women build self-esteem and self-confidence. We bring in skills like job training skills. We bring in opportunity, like Dress for Success, to build that sense of self again for the women. But the real key is the safety that the residents feel at Vista House. It's a very secure facility. It's very warm, very inviting. It's their place. It's their home. And I think that that's the best way to break that cycle of dependence and that cycle of fear, is to let them know that there's a better life. We show them we show people a better life. That's really, at that stage, that's what we can do. It's just, this is the life you deserve, you deserve your children. Your children deserve to be with you in a safe, nurturing environment, and our staff do that. The facility kind of emotes that that sense, and we haven't been around too long at Vista House, but the stories are amazing. They really are.
So some of the benefits to mothers and societies overall as a whole of women, and in particular women with children, to seek and receive treatment and transitional housing, because people have to be invested in this. People have to believe in it, because it's one of the most underrepresented populations, women and women with children, women and children equally, treatment not available, and the benefits to everyone, because at the end of the day also it has to have the support to have the sustainability. Some of the benefits, I was surprised when I read that women are actually the fastest growing population in the criminal justice system. And obviously that can also get down to a dollars and cents thing. The money, the financial aspect of getting women with their children back on track. You mentioned the different programs of Dress for Success, being on a job search, their kids not being in the system, whether it's through family court, whether it's through CPS, whether it's through DSS, the impact that it has on the school system, which again trickles down, which I think a lot of times people minimize, because even if your child is not in an alcohol or drug explosive environment at home, it doesn't necessarily mean that their peers and their classmates aren't. So this just has an ongoing domino effect, so to say. Some of the other benefits that you've seen in, why should someone support a Women in Children's program?
Just think about how important family life is to yourself. That how does that make you feel to have a complete family, to have a mother who cares for you, loves for you? What we see is the children. They're getting back engaged in their own lives as well. They can go back to school. They can go back to school and focus. So we're creating a better societal situation just by uniting the families again. I think that the benefit to the community of having a united family is, you can't really put a value on that.
And we've seen time and time again, if you turn on the news, whether you're watching YNN or Channel 6 or 13, 10, whatever, you're going to see the generations after generations and the results of broken homes. Open the Times-Union, the Troy Record, whatever. It's always interesting when I read something or hear something about someone that's been arrested or someone that gets sentenced, and then they add on, oh, and by the way, his father is currently doing whatever at, Coxsackie or Hudson. So again, it absolutely, kids need their mother.
Right, and we want to break that cycle of if it's crime, we want to break the cycle of crime. If it's substance abuse, we want to break that cycle as well. Everyone, we all should have the same chances, and Vista House is giving those children and the mothers, a chance, a second chance in some cases, or in some cases, honestly, it's a first chance. Particularly for the children, in a lot of cases, it's their first chance.
How many people, how many women and children, you said there's been 3 children born at Vista House. Yeah. How many women have actually gone through the program since its inception?
Well, actually, we haven't. We don't want a lot of turnover. It's transitional living, so they can stay in Vista House for up to 2 years. So since it's a new program, we've actually just started to really stabilize at full occupancy. So we've had probably a handful of women who've come to us, and they've their stay has been completed. They're working. They're back home again. But what we're seeing now is longevity with the residents. They came to us day one. They've started, a lot of times what we found, and it's not what we originally thought, a lot of times what we found is that the mothers don't really start to gain custody of their children until they're in a stable location like Vista House.
Sure.
Then the custody process starts, and it starts with weekend visitation. It starts with weekends and a couple days during the week, and then then ultimately they get full custody. So that's kind of a process. And then they're starting back to school or working. So what we're seeing now is that kind of a micro continuum of care within Vista House with some of the women who started with us right from the beginning.
That's great. I don't know why anybody wouldn't want to support a cause like this. And the opportunity to support ACCA and Vista House, the Women and Children's Program in Albany, which absolutely serves not only the women of this viewing area of this television station, even if you're not a woman with a child or a woman in need of substance abuse services, I guarantee if you don't know firsthand, there's a woman out there that's maybe your cousin, your sister, your aunt, maybe it's your next door neighbor, maybe it's your kid's school bus driver. There is definitely a need for women and children's services across the board, but definitely in the Capital District, which ACCA now is fulfilling. So you guys have a great event coming up on April 11th.
Yes.
And we've been talking about some real serious stuff, but I think we both know, in my recovery, sometimes laughter is the best medicine. You have Comedy for a Cause to support ACCA and the Vista House. It's coming up on Thursday, April the 11th at the Albany Comedy Works, which is at 500 Northern Boulevard in Albany. The doors open at 5:30. But we want you to come there early because you can eat right there. The show is at 7. Tickets are $30 in advance, $35 at the door. And the great thing about this fundraiser, $20 of every ticket goes directly to ACCA and to support the Vista House. So it's not like you're spending $30 and $2 or $3. $20 of that ticket goes directly to support the services that are being offered at Vista House for the women and children within the Capital District. These are your neighbors. These are your friends. To purchase tickets, you can do one of two things. You can call 1-877-JOKE-TIX, which is 1-877-JOKETIX, or you can visit online www.joketix.com/ACCA. There's also going to be a raffle package there for the real diehard comedy fans. You guys have an autographed photo of Woody Allen, a $100 to Franklin's Tower, and 4 tickets to the Comedy Works. That's like an estimated value of $300. And again, I know sometimes times are tough. If you have the opportunity to get out and enjoy a night, to get a laugh, and to support such a great cause, you really need to. I know I'm going to be there. And the headliner for the show is Joey Cola.
Joey Cola.
I had an opportunity, and we're going to try to insert a clip of Joey. He's a funny guy. He is actually the warm-up guy for the Martha Stewart show, and he's actually been featured on many of her show segments. At first, when I first saw the clip that I saw, I'm like, I've seen that guy before. And then that's when I realized, yes, I watched the Martha Stewart show. But again, this is great. It's Comedy for a Cause to support ACCA's Vista House Women and Children's Transitional Program. It's Thursday, April 11th. It's right over at the Albany Comedy Works, 500 Northern Boulevard. Tickets in advance are $30. Tickets at the door are $35. $20 of that goes directly to the Vista House. The doors open at 5:30. The show's at 7. Keith, final thoughts, and what's the future of the Vista House, and in particular, I'm so excited about the cutting edge that ACC has taken to serve this such underrepresented population of women and children. Where do you see Vista House going?
Well, you know, I think the residents, the women and children who live in Vista House and then leave Vista House and return to the community, that's the future of Vista House. Their success will just strengthen the work that we do, and hopefully, you know, with the support of people coming to the comedy show, for example. But just their success, and the more people see that those residents are successful, there'll be more Vista Houses. There'll be more services for women. So, you know, the future really is in their hands. And, you know, we welcome the community to come and visit Vista House and just see for themselves you know, see the residents, see the women and the children. It's really exciting. It's great. Really
Keith, thanks for joining us. Again, come out and enjoy us. April 11th, Comedy for a Cause at the Comedy Works, 500 Northern Boulevard in Albany. Thanks for watching, and until next time, take it one day at a time.